Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host and superior web headmaster, Jarod Bachman Stubbs. And on the show today, we have your resident Green Lantern Professor, Travis Grossman, and Princess of them, Mrs. Capel.
It's the closest you get because I'm out of cans in my house.
Thank God.
It sounded so wet. It just sounded gross coming through in the mix. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been out in the rain all day and I'm just already feeling soggy.
The wind rattled the house a bit. Ooh, that was a bad voice crack.
I was going to attribute that to like a microphone vocal fry, but
nope, that was
Pure puberty.
Yeah. Well, folks, we got I thought it was going to be a light news week, and then it decided it didn't want to be. So we do have a nice chunk of news, and then obviously we have some WandaVision to talk about. All that said, we're going to jump into our first story here. I said I wasn't going to say this, and I take that back. I am going to say it. Travis was right. Mortal Kombat's going to be terrible.
yeah.
And I was a big dumb stupid idiot head for getting excited. I say that like I'm not still excited for it. I am excited on some level just to see a live action version of these characters in some way, shape, or form fighting. Because if there's one thing that I cannot talk shit about, it is how good the character design is. It is a perfect mix of looks fresh off of the game screen and made to look a little bit more realistic for a live action adaptation. So as the week went on, we got lots of promo and hype leading up to the trailer. We got character posters for Sub-Zero, Kano, Melina, Kung Lao, Shang Tsung, what? Sonya Blade. I just forgot the name. Liu Kang.
I have no idea who these people are, so this is all new to me.
Jax, Scorpion, and favorite Mortal Kombat character, Cole.
With his birthmark.
With his birthmark.
What do you mean? He's born with it. That's the shit. That's when I knew. Because now they can throw the money at it because it's going to make the money back to make it look good. Because they used to not even look good. But now they can look good and still be terrible. So we're at that point. And then maybe one day we'll get one that looks good and is good. We've gotten some that look good and are okay.
Detective Pikachu comes to mind.
I enjoyed it.
I would say that Detective Pikachu and Sonic were good.
I didn't see Sonic, but I heard okay things.
It was good.
Once it wasn't Nightmare Sonic.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I released the Nightmare cut of Sonic.
Nope.
Because
Nope.
if that same movie but with like horrifying Sonic becomes one of the funniest things ever made. In my opinion, having seen Sonic, I would have enjoyed it infinitely more if it was the terrifying version of him. But Lexi, you don't Mortal Kombat at all.
I have no idea anything about what anything has to do with Mortal Kombat. I have no idea who these characters are.
So you're just
game movies aren't great. So.
Yeah. And Travis, I don't know how familiar you are with like any of the Mortal Kombat lore or anything.
I played a Game Boy game a lot when I was a kid. That's as far as I ever got.
Okay.
And like I'm aware of character names. And I know at one point I was at a sleepover and we had it on like the Sci-Fi Channel or something, and they were playing the live action, like the old movies, like at 2 a.m. and none of us knew what was happening and we were trying to sleep.
The Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel to the movie that came out in the 90s, is in most people's top 5 so bad it's good movies. That's where a lot of the memes come from, where they have Sindel, Katana's mother, just gonna go, "You will die." Like, it's very hammy B movie shit. It's remarkably bad. This doesn't look quite as bad, but it's still
It's
looking a little rough.
on the graph, right? Like on a bad movie graph, there's like good, you don't enjoy it, and then so bad it's good, right? On that
Yeah.
parabola. It's looking to be right at the bottom, like right at a solid 0. Maybe a -1. Because like if I get more lines like the birthmark line, or if Scorpion has to give more lines like I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by the Get Over Here. There's
You
a
say
part of me that
underwhelmed?
was just, yeah. I
couldn't even be any kind of whelmed. You couldn't tell what he was saying.
I heard.
I only realized because I heard ear. I heard here. And I was like, oh, he said get over here. But like through a mask and also throwing up at the same time.
Like Bane did a better job.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan could have mixed that better.
I love that Tom Hardy Bane enunciates better than Scorpion.
His articulation.
Yeah.
leaps above.
I didn't want them to. I was okay with them showing some of the like fan servicey things in the trailer. I liked seeing Liu Kang do the giant fire dragon. I liked seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero duking it out. And at the very least, it looks like it's going to be a fun martial arts movie. Like, at the very least, turn off your brain and look at some well choreographed fights. Because that bit of Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting, like, that just looks like a good fight. Barring the CGI being a little rough, and it is the first trailer, so I will give it the benefit of the doubt going in that, you know, maybe this version of the trailer was cut together a while ago, and this is when the marketing campaign was set to start, and they don't want to spend money on re-editing trailers. I will make excuses for first trailer CGI and hope that if we get another trailer in a month, like a month from now, that maybe it looks cleaner, or once it comes out, it looks cleaner. But the actual combat looked good. Combat with a K looked good.
So hopefully it wasn't they used all the good shots in the trailer.
I really hope it's not that, because even then, it like Kano did not look finished. Like the cyborg guy, that half a second shot of him going, like shooting the laser out of his eye, that looked terrible.
I laughed at. It was like the red lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I laughed when that came on. I was like, what was that?
I did too. I watched the trailer. I was like, the morning it came out, I'm like all bundled up in my hoodie, like looking like Quasimodo hovering over my phone, like, yes, give me the Mortal Kombat trailer. And it got to that part and I checked out. I think the bit where Sub-Zero freezes the bullet as it's being shot at him is neat. Even though that's not how Jax loses his arms, but whatever. I don't want to be that guy who goes into this kind of movie and the only complaints I have about it are this isn't a direct adaptation. Because I get that you have to change some things, but who the fuck is Cole? Where is Johnny Cage? Why are all
maybe
the
it's his dad. Maybe
Cole's gonna start going by Johnny Cage by the end of the movie for no reason.
He like wins a cage match during the tournament, and they're like, "We're gonna start calling you Johnny Cage."
And he's like, "I've never been called Johnny in my life. Please don't do that." And then everyone keeps doing that.
Yeah, that'll probably be it. I don't like the birthmark thing. Like, as funny as the line is, there's a part of me that's just like, no. It's, you know, the Thunder God Raiden just goes, "Oh, hey, you can fight good. Want to help me save the world? Mind if I get you killed 3 times?" I don't know.
It's a birthmark. What do you mean? He was born with it.
Damaged. He was born with it.
The
Sorry.
Maybelline. Yeah, I went from being like slightly really excited to having my expectations on the floor for Mortal Kombat, and I'm embarrassed that I created a situation where I allowed myself to get let down.
What have we learned? Video game movies bad. Uncharted's gonna be bad. Last of Us is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be a TV show, though. I think
I think Last of Us will be serviceable. It won't be as good as the game. And the problem, like the game, again, when you focus your story into like you, the player, are doing the action that's causing the emotion, it's way more powerful, and it doesn't translate to film. Like, there's no way to translate that to filmmaking, even like television. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Why is that behind you? Are we talking about it now? Is that where we're at?
I was just getting ready to transition to it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Before we talk about the picture, do we want to talk about the picture and then talk about the interview, or do we want to talk about the interview and then the fucking picture?
I want to like kind of shoot a little bit about the trailer because I didn't get to last week.
Oh, yes, of course. Please
for like
do.
5 seconds, and then talk about the interview for like 5 seconds, and then because it is a long goddamn interview. Excuse me. So I'm whelmed. Like besides we live in a society
joke.
Besides we live in a society, the trailer's fine. My reasoning for like my predictions that you talked about from last week were watching the trailer. I went, there are so many images of the Nightmare timeline in this trailer, and I don't think it was at all in the original cut, or not the original, but the Justice League. It wasn't in Justice League.
Oh my god.
And so I went, there's a lot of this in this trailer for something that wasn't in the movie before. Oh, right. DC likes to line up all their stories to be kind of similar. There's going to be a time skip after they lose the Steppenwolf. Like, it kind of clicked. And so that's what I'm operating under is the movie plot right now.
Sorry.
Oh.
I hit the camera.
It's okay.
I needed my water.
I
spotted it from across the room.
You were like, that's some tasty water.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, besides we live in a society, there was nothing wrong with the trailer. I was just like, this is a trailer, and now I know the plot of the movie, so I don't even care about that, and I'm just gonna dislike it. As a piece of art, I'm gonna think it's not good. I think the opening shot of Superman is goofy, and I hate it.
Apropos of anything Justice League or anything Snyder cut, the opening shot
from the trailer of like Superman, doing the thing. I was like, this looks goofy, and I don't like it.
We went so deep into like we live in a society last week. I was on with Armin and Mitch that we didn't talk about. I forgot to bring this up. I really don't know how I feel about how literally the bell's been rung ended up being that whenever Lex Luthor was like, God's dead, the bell's been rung, ding, 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 ding. That whenever he does that shit at the end of BVS, the fact that he's being literal with the fact that Superman's death rattle was heard around the universe, literally, like Not in the like the shot heard round the world that started the Civil War, or like that kind of like metaphor. Like Darkseid literally heard Superman die. And presumably, if like the bell's been rung and everybody heard it, then I'm sure that means that your Mongols and Brainiacs also heard it, and they're gonna be coming into play soon too, presumably.
But those are cartoon villains. They were in the cartoon. Darkseid wasn't in the Saturday morning cartoon, so I'm going to use Darkseid.
Except that he was.
I just like, I mean, also that, you know, to give him what little credit I can, the studio definitely told him to use Darkseid because that was our set thing for the time, you know. Yeah, it didn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. I'm still going to hate it. Like, I'm going to viscerally hate it. And, you know, given the other things we found out last week about a different filmmaker, I'm going to hate it in a different way than I now hate Justice League. Because Joss Whedon is like officially a douche. And I think the difference is like getting mad at Joss Whedon because he's an asshole is just the like, I'm going to put down this bully because they deserve it, you know? Versus getting mad at Zack Snyder is because I feel like he's personally attacking me. I know he isn't. But when he's like, you look at art wrong. Your view of art is wrong. Fuck you. Like, that's what he's saying to me every time he talks. And it's the same shit with Todd Phillips, where I was like Joker is a fine movie. Like, objectively, Joker's a good movie. But also I hate it because of Todd Phillips. And I'm sure the Snyder Cut, at the very least, will be a complete movie. Like, it'll have a complete story.
Oh, very complete.
I'm going to hate it because of Zack Snyder.
I get it. You know, it's a hard pill to swallow because it's Zacky boy.
I told you this off air. If it wasn't for like doing this show, I don't think I would watch it, honestly. I don't think I'd bother. Because at that point, it's going to cause me negative emotions that I don't want. So I'm just going to avoid it. But at least this gives me a way to like make it comical.
So what you're saying is that once you watch the Snyder Cut, all you'll have are negative thoughts.
And then I'll kill my psychiatrist, yes.
Once it's over, Travis is just going to be like in the bathroom with like really loud Hans Zimmer blaring, just doing the ballerina shit. But it's just going to be dun, 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 dun. Anyway. The Zack Snyder interview was interesting, Travis. I think you got through more of it than I did.
I got up to, I hope it was more than halfway, but I got up to the point because like it goes in weird chunks of the like the overview of what happened, the personal side of it for him, and like kind of working on the set of it, and then like the process of him stepping away. And I read up to the point where he was like calling people to let them know he was stepping away back in 2017, and that's where I gave up. I don't know how much further it goes than that. I think based on other headlines I read, somewhere in there he mentions that he's not getting paid for this. So I might like one of us can talk while one of us skims, I guess. But
I will say, and I want to address it here because it kind of comes with the territory, especially when talking about Snyder Cut stuff and the nature of this article.
I got well over half. Okay, I couldn't see the scroll bar before. I actually got pretty decently far. Give me 1 second.
I think it bears being repeated again. Just that as much as, everybody on the show at the moment for this episode are not big fans of Snyder and his work and his interpretations of these characters. But the fans who aren't assholes who harass WB employees, and Snyder himself, the fact that everybody gets to come back from this horrible, horrible, horrible personal tragedy and get to share share the original vision, even though it's not the. Here's what I will say: I will be charitable with how I use the word original vision. I think this may have wanted to do, but WB was like, "No, calm down, Zachary." And
I think that's part of the point is that there never was an original vision. Like, I think he was developing it as he went, and as he pitched ideas, the studio kept like knowing him. And I think that's also because, remember, there was a while where we thought we were getting 2 movies. We were going to get a part 1 and a part 2. And I think that was part of it, was that at first they were like, well, we're just going to take everything you want to do and break it up. And you can see, like, there's stuff that's not going to be in this movie. Like he said in this article somewhere, I don't know if you got to it, but there's supposed to be a plot point of Bruce falling in love with Lois. You've got to be shitting me. Like, it's already high traffic time.
I agree with the fire alarm.
His whole point was that, like, after Clark dies, he was going to fall in love with Lois and then realize that the only way to stop Steppenwolf was to bring Superman back. And he was going to have that conflict of interest because Lois was still going to be in love with Clark. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well.
Okay, look,
Good.
A Bruce Wayne, and I'm very specifically going to say Bruce Wayne, Lois Lane romantic thing happening isn't necessarily bad, but again, that only works if it happens at the right point in the timeline.
Oh, yeah, none of it makes any sense.
Like in the animated series, there was a hot minute, like Bruce and Lois went on dates. Because it was before, like, she was like steady together with Clark, and I don't have a problem with that.
What does that have to do with anything now? Like, is there any possible way to shoehorn that in? I mean, there's, what is it, 2 hours?
Oh yeah, the 2 hours no, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, that was in his original vision, but it's not going to be in this movie. I hope it's not going to be in this movie.
Thank God. No, like, that defeats the whole point of having Martha Kent be like, oh, hey, by the way, I know we just buried Clark. I don't know if now's a good time to tell you. He was going to propose. And then you have Bruce like, I failed him in life. I'm not going to fail him in death. What I am going to do is nail his fiance. Like, what the shit? Oh, my God. It's so... why won't Bruce stop sleeping with, like, his partner's, like, romantic interests? Like, how much you want to bet he slept with this version of Batgirl after Dick died? Because we know he's the dead Robin. He's the dead Robin.
I could just jump out this window right now instead of answering that question. I do also want to read this quote that I didn't get to before, and it might be my favorite quote from the whole article. Whedon didn't exactly save the movie. Quote, when we got to see what Joss actually did, it was stupefying. End quote, says a studio executive who requested anonymity. I can't say that word. Anonymity. I added a syllable. Quote, the robber on the rooftop, so goofy and awful. The Russian family, so useless and pointless. Everyone knew it. It was so awkward because nobody wanted to admit what a piece of shit it was.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Yeah, God damn, this movie's gonna be something else. While we're here, Crown of Thorns Joker.
Okay, so here's
Hold on. Coming back.
she's coming back. So
Lexi's like, okay, we're done talking about Batman being a predator. Cool.
I'm back now.
now, Jared, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
This is not just promotional nonsense. I think the explanation here could be that potentially in like the nightmare timeline, when society has been destroyed and everything's been laid to waste, that Joker and his hedonistic, nihilistic look on life kind of takes off among like the survivors of Gotham, and maybe instead of the Joker gang, it kind of becomes a Joker cult. And that's where the Christ imagery is coming from, because I have no other way to figure out how you extrapolate Christ imagery onto the Joker. Like Superman, that makes sense. Almost every superhero, you can find a way to put them in like some type of like cross pose or like ascension, and it works. I don't know how you Christify the Joker.
So I think this is exclusively promotional material. I don't think this will be anywhere in the movie. I think when Leto came back, he made a passing comment to Zack while in his Joker makeup and went, yeah, it's like this movie's rising from the dead. Like Jesus. Almost like and my version of Joker's coming back after being crucified by the media. Like Jesus. And Zack Snyder went, Jesus, you say?
So
Picture happened.
did you have that before or after I messaged into the chat about Leto being the reason for it?
Before.
Okay. Because that's where I was going too. Was the fact that
It was like
somehow
Leto came off of his
Jared
cult,
Leto
came off of his cult island
and was like, I'm a god. Let's add it somehow.
I love the idea that Jared Leto showed up for like promo photos, like photo ops for Snyder Cut, and brought his own crown of thorns. Like he just had it on
It's
hand.
in his briefcase. Like, oh yeah, I'm going back to the island after this to be a cult leader again. You want to take some photos with it? And Zack Snyder was like, dude, this is my whole shtick. Yes.
And again, like we talked, I brought this up last week. I hate that he's like in a surgeon's getup, because it just has the energy of like vague, creepy clown and not the clown prince of crime.
Is that what he's in that picture?
Yeah, he's wearing like a smock and he has a surgical mask on. He's wearing like scrubs and the surgical mask.
Is he?
Yeah.
Please show me the picture.
Oh. Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't know, but it seems
Because
like
originally I thought it was like,
He was in robes.
no, I
Oh.
thought it was from whenever he's in the mental hospital. They put him in scrubs, it has like that's what I thought it was about. But
when we saw the first wave of pictures, I thought he was in a straitjacket. Like I thought he was in Arkham, but he's wearing a surgeon's getup, and now it just seems like he's in some weird, like haunted house, and he's just creepy clown surgeon, and I don't know. It seems weirdly phoned in. We take that out of the equation. Why is this not in color? I know why.
Black and white in IMAX, Jared, with a 10-minute intermission. If you're weak.
Cinema. Like,
I'm losing brain cells. What kind of symbolism is this? He's gonna fix. He's gonna fix everything. He's gonna fix society. He's the Messiah.
He's the Messiah of comedy.
Of 2020. He's gonna do something.
This is going to become the new King picture of like random memes featuring the Joker with like edgy ass quotes that don't mean anything.
He's going to become a doctor. He's being forgiven for his sins. He's, what's the word? Start with an R. Repenting. He scrubbed off the eyeliner Sharpie damaged on his forehead and the J.
The idea that face tats aren't real.
He's going to become a surgeon, and he's just going to... He's going to be a good guy now.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because last week, whenever I was talking to Armin and Mitch, I kind of, in a less silly way, going off of Travis's theory with what he thinks like the plot is, thought that Joker might be helping the Justice League.
Oh, yeah. I think that's where Joker and Deathstroke come into it. Is that
they're part of some type of resistance, and the Batman just needed whoever he could get.
Yeah, I mean, like Deathstroke's enough of a malleable anti-hero that it makes sense, and then
Joker's that like I have nobody else, I need you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
Which on paper, I like that a lot. I like the idea of the Batman and Joker having to team up in a post-apocalyptic like wasteland that's been conquered by Darkseid and all of his minions and a potentially resurrected evil Superman. It's kind of an interesting concept that I'm not 100% disinterested in, but it's when we bring in this shit that I have a lot of questions. That like
it's a fun like 3 or 4 issue miniseries that eventually gets adapted into an animated movie kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's not. It's not. It's just not. Why? And that's the other thing that this interview like really showed, and like when Zach's talking about the like when he was working on it before in 2016, that like it everyone was saying that Warner Brothers and DC are really just trying to rip off the MCU. That like their only goal with this is to 1-for-1 the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Zach basically was like, yeah, I mean, they weren't as like on me about it as people thought, but that is what was happening. We're like,
yeah,
hey, cut this plot point, add a joke here, like, and they weren't like, you need to add jokes. It was like, oh, hey, this would be a good spot for like a funny bit. And he was like, oh yeah, you're right, let's do it. And they do it. And then they were like, the movie's too long, and he cut all the shit they told him to add in.
That I thought that was funny. I also think it's interesting here that there is confirmation of one of the chain of events that have been theorized about that WB was looking to potentially fire him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then tragedy struck with his daughter. And I don't know. I don't like that version of events is what came to pass. Like that is the truth. That he was looking at losing the job anyway. And then he kind of ended up with the most awful and heart-wrenching and depressing version of "You can't fire me, I quit." That he had to step away. And there's no other choice there for him. And again, like you got to do what you got to do, man. Like your family needs you, and you know, we don't talk enough about the fact that that Deborah is right there with him for everything as a producer. So like the fact that both of them had to step away says a lot about what happened to the project in their absence. So it's complicated. It's all a really complicated mess. Yeah.
We're less than a month away.
Less than a month away till we get the Snyder cut and we get to put all of this fuckery behind us.
That's what you think.
Yeah, I know that's not going to happen. Speaking of the continuing DC cinematic universe and movies that are still happening, apparently, allegedly, we are getting Supergirl in the Flash movie.
When you texted this into the chat, because you didn't send an article, you just sent Supergirl will be in the Flash. And my thought process went, oh, Melissa Benoist is going to be guest starring on The Flash this season, which is weird because her show just ended, and I think she started her own production company like this past month. And I was like, that's really weird because she seems to be having other shit going on. But like, sure.
Yeah.
If she wants, like, there's nothing stopping her. And then I asked you, I was like, oh, it's like a guest spot or a recurring role? And you went, no, in the movie. And I was like, I hope they pay in advance because that movie's not happening.
So, we're going to say it now. Hey, Ezra Miller, if you're listening.
Why'd you choke a woman?
Why did you choke slam that woman? We'd like to know. Any explanation is better than none. People who are not watching the YouTube version of this show, like, I don't even need to ask you for your thoughts, Lexi. That was just the most, like, your face said everything.
I'm trying not to laugh. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. I just want to know. I know. It's just we just pretend it didn't happen. All of them. Like same with the Amber Heard situation. Like there has been zero acknowledgement of Amber Heard or Ezra Miller.
It's Chris Brown all over again.
I almost said Ezra Bridger. I'm like, I'm not gonna shit talk the boy. But yeah. Young and the Restless daytime Emmy nominee Sasha Kaye, I'm not sure on that one, is going to be playing Supergirl.
Whoa, wait a second. Who?
Sasha Calle.
Yes, I scrolled down a little bit more and saw that she is from Colombia, so
Yeah.
that L is probably going to be a Y sound.
Kaye.
Okay, cool.
Kaye, I don't know. But
I think
it's probably a double L thing going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's cool. Any excitement I have to see Flash is more based around the characters who aren't Flash who are in it at this point.
I didn't freak out over the name, by the way. I watch a lot of Young and the Restless with my mother, and I wanted to.
I knew this.
Oh no, my earbud fell out of my ear. Hold on. Can't hear you.
She can hear again.
There
okay. No, I knew you were going. I knew you because you clicked with the soap opera stuff. I knew that's what that was about. It's an interesting casting choice. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just hope they pay in advance.
But while we're at it, give Ray Fisher his job back. And I don't want to take away from this casting because it is cool, it is neat. Obviously, we all have our problems with the Flash movie happening in its current form without there being some type of answers about some choke slams. However, I again don't want to take away from this casting. I think it's really cool. Part of me is kind of concerned that this is in some way making up for a lack of Cyborg. And that kind of puts a downer on this for me. Is the likelihood that this is in some way an effort to mitigate the lack of Ray Fisher. So,
again, that is concerning, and I will stick to my guns and say that in the end, it might not matter because.
what are your? I want to ask over under so you actually give me what odds you think, but I'm too. I enjoy enabling the dimes to donuts bit too much. So, dimes to donuts that this movie actually comes out for you.
When's it supposed to come out?
I believe at current 2024. No, I'm not.
I have no idea who she is in this show. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out what character she was, but she's not even like. It's not coming up.
Allegedly November 4th, 2022.
Okay, so that's the.
They're not making that release date. I will be shocked if that release date happens.
They will push the date back again towards the end of this year. They will start shooting probably mid to late 2022. And the project will die the dumpster fire it is in the beginning of 2023. That's my prediction.
I'm interested to see what happens. I do think it will come out. I do think we will get to see this movie. I think it's just a matter of when, and then it's just a matter of how much the timetable gets pissed around with.
I don't see it happening.
Well, we shall see. Ezra Miller not getting a paycheck is okay with me, all things considered. Moving along to people who are probably not getting a paycheck. No dipshit Jennifer Lawrence is not going to be cast as Sue Storm in the MCU. There have been rumors circulating a lot lately that Jennifer Lawrence of Hunger Games and X-Men fame would be playing Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman, in the MCU John Watts directed Fantastic Four. However, it's looking like these rumors are starting to get debunked. There was a tweet that says, from Justin Kroll, that says, all I'm going to say is this: Marvel just started. I didn't mean to click on the tweet. All I'm going to say is this: Marvel just started meeting with writers on Fantastic Four. There is no script. It will be a while before this film starts shooting. So, by the sounds of it, the closest anything is for casting for Fantastic Four right now is shortlists.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, we'll find out as they go. As like transparent as they seem to be about other castings, like with the TV shows. I would say by the end of this year, beginning of next year, we're going to start seeing castings for the movie.
Yeah, I think there might be a couple roles they already have. Again, either they know who they want. There hasn't been a conversation yet, or there are short lists floating around.
Yeah, or like they're in talks and the contracts haven't been sealed yet.
Yeah, I also don't dislike Jennifer Lawrence. Like, I'm not one of the people who just like randomly hates her, like part of the internet does for some reason. But I don't like her as Sue Storm. That doesn't work for me. Like if this ends up panning out and we all eat crow for calling this horse shit, so be it. And I'd love to see her prove me wrong. I don't know about her for Sue Storm. I've had a hard time figuring out who I would want to play Invisible Woman. I've had an easier time figuring out people for like Reed and Ben and Johnny, but she's like the one part of the four that I can't quite figure out who I think would be a good fit.
I'm not, I don't really fan cast. I don't have like dream
thought you
castings.
did.
No, the rest of the four I can like give like at least 3 actors who would crush it. Recently, I think, I mean, aside from the Emily Blunt, John Krasinski thing, which I think is still a good idea, but that's kind of like the entire internet's fan casting for Reed and Sue, and I don't even count that as one that like I think is good. I think like everybody likes the idea of Emily Blunt and John Krasinski playing them. I've been seeing people talking about the idea of Lakeith Stanfield playing Reed. Lakeith Stanfield is the guy who screams "Get Out" in Get Out. He was Justin Judas in The Black Messiah. Phenomenal actor. I like him a lot. I've heard a lot of people saying John David Washington from Tenet would be a good Reed Richards as well. I like both of those a lot.
I want to see Washington get into some superhero stuff.
Same. My favorite that I've seen that I think is the most not out of left field, but like least expected one is Daveed Diggs as the Thing.
Yeah, you mentioned that one before.
And I never would have thought of that, but that is genius. And he would crush that. But yeah, don't take the Jennifer Lawrence Invisible Woman rumors too seriously. Moving right along here to something that might end up coming up on Heroic History 101 whenever these wrap up. We are getting comic book sequels to Batman 89 and the Richard Donner Superman. Really cool stuff coming out of these announcements. These will be following the Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve versions of Batman and Superman, respectively. There was some of the concept art that was released that had to do with the Batman one, showing like a member of the Joker gang that clearly is Prince, as an allusion to all of the music that Prince did for this era of Batman. I'm really excited for this. I am going to be reading this very, very avidly. Both of them, but the Batman one I'm a little bit more excited for because it's such a specific flavor of Batman, the Tim Burton stuff, that people cherry pick elements from now. Like there's a little bit of Burton in the animated series, and there's a little bit of Burton in Gotham, and there's a little bit of Burton here and a little bit of Burton there. I like the idea of going all in with the Tim Burton Batman aesthetic in a comic book. That intrigues me. Same with extrapolating the Donner era Superman in the pages of a comic.
Yeah, when I saw these, I thought they were I thought they were like variant covers for something, and didn't realize they were full comic runs. But that's cool. I'm not particularly like. I'm trying to like. These movies aren't my everything for these characters like they are for some people, and it's okay that they are for some people, but I think they're cool. Like I think this is a cool idea. But yeah.
That's neat. Fair. It is very neat, and I am very excited to see where they go. Speaking of some interesting tie-in material, by the looks of it, DC's getting into the podcast game. This is per The Hollywood Reporter. DC is pulling back the curtain on its plans to create a new podcast superhero universe. DC Chief Creative Officer Jim Lee revealed that during Spotify's February 22nd Stream On, a virtual live stream event, that the company is planning podcasts about Wonder Woman, Batman, Lois Lane, Catwoman, Riddler, and Batgirl. This is a long-time partnership between Warner Brothers, DC, and Spotify, Lee said. I think the fan base is going to respond to this in an exciting way and embrace it as something new and novel. The projects are the result of an expansive podcast deal that Warner Brothers struck with Spotify last summer. At the time, the companies teased that iconic DC superheroes and supervillains would be subjects of multiple podcasts for the audio giant. The project is previously announced. The previously announced David Goyer series Batman Unburied, which will explore the darker side of Bruce Wayne's psychology. It is expected to debut on Spotify later this year. Warner is also going on a separate Batman podcast for HBO Max. The comedic series Batman: The Audio Adventures will star Jeffrey Wright. So that is where the other Batman audio project that was announced will also be manifesting there. The news about the DC podcast came during a jam-packed 90-minute presentation from Spotify, in which the company also announced that it has signed a podcast deal with Joe and Anthony Russo to produce genre podcasts. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm very much looking forward to Batman Unburied. The Wonder Woman one interests me. You know, like the stuff involving the Bat family and Batman Rogues is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Are these like the storytelling kind of podcasts where like they're telling like it's a fictional story being told as a podcast, or is it like somebody sitting down and like dissecting Batman comics?
So,
because that's what I can't tell. If it's the storytelling kind, then I don't give a shit about Batman Unburied because I'm sick of the darker side of Batman's psychology. If it's not that, and it's someone like I'm gonna dig through some Batman comics and look at some cool shit, then yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
The Dark Knight writer will create and executive produce an audio drama set in Gotham City.
We've been doing the dark side of Batman psychology for 20 godforsaken years. Can we please fucking stop? Like, dude, I agree. The dude has PTSD. We understand. Like, yes.
But it's never depicted well. That's the thing. Is that like most times
I don't care. I'm sick of them trying. Like, maybe the lesson isn't you need to do it better. Maybe the lesson is just quit it.
I agree with you. If I had my druthers, we would be seeing Batman during that peak of his career, where the Bat family is like 8 deep. He's a member of the League. Bruce is a functioning human being, at least as best as he can be, and is as close to he can be as just generally happy.
My favorite versions of the like Bruce's dark psychology thing are like the Arkham games, right? Because usually when we're going into the dark stuff, they make it like grim, dark, and gritty, and edgy, and it just over the top, and they make it damaged, right? Yeah. And I like the idea of like. I just realized the shadow cast for my PS5 looks like a Batman cowl. That's very funny.
I love that.
I'm going to take a picture of that for you. But yeah, I just like there are cool ways to explore that psychology, and like they've been done for me. Like I'm over it. I don't even need them to be like full Bat family deep. I want to see him like working with other League members and not even as the League. Like I want to see more buddy cop stuff with Superman and Batman, or finally give me my Hal Jordan Bruce Wayne team up I've been waiting for since Justice League War. Throw a man a bone, please. Like
I get that. Yeah. I agree with you that I like that the dark side of Bruce Wayne's psyche stuff being the way it's portrayed in the Arkham universe is just that Bruce carries a lot with him, but he's also aware of the fact that he's surrounded by people who love him, and that it's just a matter of him opening up more and not him just being, sulking in the corner. Like, have a little bit of sulking, but like a mature amount of sulking for Bruce at this point in his career.
yeah, I'm just so sick of it. Like I don't want it anymore, man. I say that like I'm not excited for the Batman, but I think that might be like the one where it's good. I hope it's the one where it's good.
As so long as it is the point of it is him learning to not behave like that,
We'll see.
All right. Oh yeah, we got one more piece of news. Speaking of the Batman, is she nearby? I want to see her face for some of this. Okay,
Sorry.
come back on camera because I specifically need to see both of your faces hearing some of these batshit insane.
Oh, I read. I didn't read it, but I saw the headline.
Okay, so sources close to the production of the Batman say that the Batman is going to be delayed again. Not because of COVID, not because of injuries. No, not the normal stuff. Apparently, Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz can't stop fucking and got caught getting nasty on top of the Batmobile. And allegedly, Zoe
Why
Kravitz.
did you call me back for this?
Because it's absurd, and I want to see you get frustrated by it.
I'm already.
Because I had to read it, and Travis had to read it, so you have to hear about it too. And allegedly, Zoe Kravitz, in the wake of not being able to pry herself away from Mr. Pattinson, has a positive pregnancy test. All of this is bunk and bullshit. But exactly the people who you think have been really, really pushing this story have been going hard in the paint with it. For example,
Who even? Why? What's the point of this? What is that? Like what? Why?
it has too much traction, and whenever I went to Google this because I kept seeing it being brought up, like the fact that I was starting to see articles talking about no, this isn't true. Cosmic book news, Doomcock sympathizers. Robert Pattinson got Zoe Kravitz pregnant. Batman rumor takes Twitter by storm.
My eye is twitching.
The original poster of the rumor says, I'm working on the set of the Batman, so in about a week or so, all the media will go after him for what he and Zoe did on the set of the Batman last week. We, parentheses, me, and a lot of workers with Matt Reeves caught Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz doing the segs on the Batmobile. It's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my career now. I'm sorry.
I love the idea that the entire production crew walked in at the same time while it was happening.
Yeah. Matt Reeves just happened to be with a couple of stagehands. I'm sorry. I'm going to read directly from it. So I know grammar. It's probably one of the worst things I've ever saw in my career now. Matt was so furious he interrupted them. And that's not all. Zoe took a pregnancy test and she is pregnant and everybody thinks it's Pattinson's. Since October, Robert and Zoe started dating in secret. We know about it as we saw them together after work. She recently divorced her husband, though. I'm purely disgusted by their act, both her and Pattinson. All I know is that that Reeves is so furious he might not do the Batman 2 and 3 as he planned and let someone else direct. He literally told Pattinson, "You are the most entitled, narcissistic actor I've ever worked with. You go back to work. We finished filming in March, and then we are done. I don't ever want to work with you after this film." He even said he refuses to do reshoots should they be needed, and I don't know what they are going to do to try to keep the situation on a leash before the media will make it official.
So not a lick of it
No,
is true. None of this is like they're not dating. They're not.
I don't know. Like
not one thing is
someone
true.
saw them like taking a break together, like just offset, and constructed this entire narrative.
I think a lot of it, honestly, I think this is the same type of like, Doom, cocky, and everybody has a guy who's working on the set of every production type bullshit. I know the fandom menace is not keen on the Batman because it's the big sparkly vampire that, girls thought was hot in high school and made them very angry. So he's not allowed to be Batman. Therefore, we have to sabotage this the same way these same types of assholes try to sabotage anything Star Wars that has a woman in it, and like they did with Captain Marvel. So I'm not going to make a judgment call as to whether or not I think Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz have anything going on. Like, it wouldn't be unheard of for two actors to hit it off on the set of a movie. So I don't know. Maybe that part's true. I don't think that a bunch of people on the crew walked in on them having sex on the Batmobile. I don't think that Zoe Kravitz is pregnant with Robert Pattinson's baby. I don't think there's this much. Yeah, I don't think it's a Batcat kid.
Don't.
And I think all the drama between Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves is bullshit. Like, this reads the same way that Pedro Pascal stormed off of the set of The Mandalorian because Boba Fett and Bo-Katan were stealing his thunder. This has the same energy as
that guy doesn't have a mean bone in his body. I don't think. I don't.
Yeah, you look at every piece of behind the scenes of Pedro Pascal. He's just great. Yeah, that's exactly how he is, and all the behind the scenes stuff for The Mandalorian. Robert Pattinson. I think Robert Pattinson is too weird to be a jackass. Like, this is the same guy who was so nervous being interviewed that he lied about watching a clown die in a car explosion. I don't think that same guy is like being difficult on set because he's a diva. So, yeah, these rumors are bullshit. This is entertaining hogwash, but hogwash nonetheless. With that
was stupid. All of that. Not
WandaVision.
That. What? Who? I'm still stuck on why would that be a rumor? Like, what? Like, let's move on. That's just so stupid. That wasted everyone's time.
Cut to 4 hours later. Why was that? Why?
Why? come to find out, it was all true.
All of it.
Typos and everything. So,
Yeah.
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
WandaVision. We
WandaVision.
finally got our Office episode.
This was such a really good hybrid of like The Office and Modern Family.
It was mostly Modern Family, but
I mean, the theme song was a lot of modern. The theme song was very The Office. I think it had like the
I disagree.
style. I thought the theme song, like the theme song, sounded almost exactly like the Office theme.
Now you're doubling down on it because I'm disagreeing with you.
Well, no, I was just me. I mean, you watched The Office more than I have.
Definitely.
I love that the episode tied to the show that most millennials are watching right now is the one where Wanda's entire life is falling apart. Because same.
I saw somebody.
It's relatable and funny.
Isn't it? And then Vision spilled his chili. I saw somebody point out on Twitter how it kind of seems like the show is also moving through the stages of grief.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Now I'm gonna walk upset because you're stealing my thunder.
I'm
God.
Well, then I was
saving it. I didn't even say it to you. I had it locked. Okay.
I apologize.
It's fine.
I attribute that to Lexi because you probably saw it before I did anyway.
I didn't see it. I came up with it.
Oh, okay. Well, then 100% you.
It's fine.
As
that was the one contribution I was going to give to this show today.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You were the voice of reason while I was reading bullshit rumors. As we now know, spoilers. Agatha Harkness said she is 100% that bitch. I liked the reveal. I wasn't sure how they were going to get the dismount on her. Like, oh, by the way, here's my real name. I just kind of like the way she said, oh, hi, the name's Agatha Harkness. Nice to finally meet you. I don't know why just the whole way that scene was framed and the way she said it was just perfectly sinister. Plus Agatha all along. I know there's been like the debate of like, people saying that the 50s version of the WandaVision theme was the best one. But I think Agatha all along is the one that takes it, especially because it has like that very clear rip on the Munsters theme. But Travis, I'm going to kick to you. Thoughts on the episode this week? Aside from depressed Z-Lennials.
It was good. I knew about the Agatha reveal before I watched the episode. Not just in the like, of course it was the whole time. But because on Twitter I scrolled past a "Who is Agatha Harkness" article from comicbook.com and went, oh, cool. So that happens this week.
I'm sorry you saw that.
I think I saw something like that too, but I didn't pay any attention to it because we all knew it was Agatha.
Yeah, like I wasn't upset. I was like, oh, so it happens this week, because that's usually like if I don't watch something right away and I see an article defining it, like describing a character, I'm like, oh, they show up. That's cool.
Yeah, that was me all of season 1 of The Mandalorian. I know I've told that story on Nights a few times where I was like, I was like, okay, I haven't been spoiled yet for the finale. And then the first thing I saw on Twitter was the Darksaber explained.
Yeah, I mean, good episode. I like the Vision keeps like going along with it for a little bit and then snapping out of it every episode. Wait a minute. No one's making me do this. I can fly. Wait a minute.
I really like the way that he was just in the truck, and then I like that scene specifically, how it starts with him going like, "Who even are you people? What am I doing? I need to go find my wife." And him walking away from the interview cuts directly to him just flying away. Like there's never any explanation as to like what's leading in the what. It's just its own thing. It's not coherent. It's so much is happening just in people's brains and reality not being real.
Yeah.
Let's see your thoughts on the episode, and I
Thank
want to
you.
talk.
I really liked it. There's nothing really much else to say. I mean, they're doing really good with the progression here, and I wanted to watch more. By the end of it,
Apparently next week's is like an hour.
that's what, didn't they say that last time?
Yeah.
We'll see. But I like now we have Darcy. I really like Darcy a lot. But I like how she's helping now, and your Quasar is happening. And I really hated that Agatha was like, I killed Sparky. And I was like, I'll kill you.
Give us Sparky back.
Yeah, seriously.
Lexi,
I wanted to rip the rabbit out of her hands. I was like, you don't touch that. Also, are the kids the rabbit and the bug now? What's with that bug? Who is Ralph the bug? Like,
okay, so with the rabbit and how his name is Senor Scratchy.
Oh yeah, that is his name, isn't it?
Okay, Agatha Harkness. So now that like no bones about it, she is Agatha Harkness. Agatha Harkness's son is another like super powerful magician.
Oh, so she has a
named
son.
Nicholas Scratch.
Oh god damn it!
So
oh, no. She's gonna pull the rabbit out of the hat.
I literally okay, either the rabbit is an homage to Nicholas Scratch.
Or he's gonna also seen morph into a person.
We need a full Animorphs.
Oh my god.
I've also seen people speculating that fake Pietro is Nicholas Scratch.
That could be the case.
But what's the bug? Is Ralph the bug?
I think it's I think it's
thing?
just like creepy imagery.
I feel like it was some sort of symbolism.
Bug.
Oh yeah, I mean like the cicadas being, yeah, wash. Yeah, I think there was more symbolism than like a tease for what is really going on. He close his eyes. Jesus Christ! See, hey, people, you got to be watching the video.
It might have been too much for the kids. The kids.
Okay. How do we feel about? Do we think Mephisto is still involved here, or are we going?
He's the bug.
Mephisto's
the bug.
Mephisto's the house.
Monster House.
Monster House.
Oh my god!
The last episode is really bad CG, and it's just Monster House.
Yes. He's that book thing. He's inside the book.
Yeah. There is one theory I want to address that has been debunked. Some people were saying that in that shot where they like pan around Wanda whenever Agatha's in the other room, that the chair moves on its own. It doesn't move. It's just the way the camera angle shifts, and the way that like the focus changes. So that wasn't moving on its own. All bug jokes aside, I still think Mephisto's at the heart of all of this. Because
eventually we'll get there, probably.
Mostly because the storyline that this is basing so much of its plot off of, with the whole Agatha gets Wanda and Vision to make babies and create children thing is that they are vessels for part of Mephisto's soul. I have a hard time, not necessarily a hard time, but because again, we've seen the MCU likes to combine characters, combine stories. Look at Iron Man 2. That version of Whiplash is like a weird Titanium Man meets Crimson Dynamo meets Whiplash. Like they just put 3 different Iron Man villains in a blender and got that version of Ivan Vanko. So maybe this version of Agatha is like that Agatha from the story, but they just kind of like fused her motives and Mephisto's motives together, and they're leaving Mephisto out of the story. That's completely possible. I know last week Mitch was speculating that Cthulhu, which is like another eldritch magical Marvel being, is involved. And that theory is starting to look like it may hold some water because that book at the end might be the Dark Hold, which is another, big Marvel magical artifact. So I love how we finally got the answer, like set in stone. She's Agatha Harkness. And immediately after, the potentiality for like every other does she have an accomplice theory skyrocketed. Like she's still talking about Ralph. So there's still a chance that the whole Ralph and Mephisto thing comes to pass, that's who she's working with. Nicholas Scratch.
I'm Mephisto.
The mailman is Mephisto. But we had her come back to the whole Senor Scratch thing. So now the Nicholas Scratch stuff might be back on the table because she addressed it by name. We still don't know what the shit is going on with Evan Peters, but we know from the post-credit scene, they're clearly working together and he's aware of what's going on. Now we have Cthulhu officially on the table with the Dark Hold. We have 1 episode left and the shit's about to hit the fan.
I believe like how she's descending Wanda. She's just kind of, she's like, this is pointless. What is the meaning of life? Like I said before, the whole depression meds commercial they had, like the ad, I was like, oh, so she has depression. And then that ad came on and I was like, yeah, she has depression. And then that's when in my head I was like, are these the stages of grief? I bet I'm right. But I was like too embarrassed to say it because sometimes I think I overthink things and create, like, connect the dots when there's no dots to connect. So I didn't.
Those
say
are the
it.
most fun dots to connect.
Said it. What?
I was just saying, those are the most fun dots to connect. If you can find meaning that isn't necessarily intended, that just means that the material has enough to mine from it that there are multiple interpretations.
I know, but just all the memes of these Marvel fans just keep thinking that everything is something when it's not.
Meanwhile, Zack Snyder.
Listen, I think that the shit talk on people who are trying to figure out WandaVision is a little unfair. This show begs to have everybody do the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Pepe Sylvia shit. Like that's what this show begs of its viewers, and they know that's what they're going to do. So that's the point. I would much rather have a show like this than, Jesus Christ Joker star. I really, really liked the way Monica's powers manifested, and how there's something really like satisfying about the specific like comic book, TV, and movie trope of the clothes this person happened to have on when they had their power accidentally turned into their iconic outfit from the comics. So the fact that she came out the other side in the black and white get up is excellent. It made me very happy. What do we?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I think there was some blue in there.
It looked navy blue to me.
I thought it was black. I know her eyes glow blue whenever she first gets through the hex.
Yes, that's very blatant.
I feel like her sleeves were blue. I don't remember.
What do we think is going on with Hayward and Vision? Because we find out from the man, the god, the king, Jimmy Woo.
He's such a good character. I really like him. He's pure.
He needs his own show.
Yeah.
I agree. I will watch Woo.
I fell in love with that guy on Fresh Off the Boat.
I've not seen any of Fresh Off the Boat, but I've heard good things.
It's not on anymore, but it was very cute. I don't think it's on anymore. It hasn't been on in a while.
Huh.
Goldberg's is still going though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say I think they're being like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. What's the general's name again? Hayward?
Hayward.
They're being kind of lazy, it feels like, with Hayward. Where like they show us at the beginning that he has this really good relationship with Monica, and then all of a sudden he's just almost cartoonishly a dick.
He's Mephisto.
I mean, like that would at least make sense.
I just love the blank is Mephisto meme at this point.
Bro, that tree, that was Mephisto.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
Stop it.
Nah, his jaw's too busted.
He's Cthulhu.
So yeah, I think that like as it stands, I feel like they did a kind of a lazy job with setting up Hayward as a side antagonist, just because he had no, like. I guess we're finding out he had a reason to like start being a dick, but also we were shown that he respects Monica enough like to almost be an equal, and then all of a sudden he just got super like,
What?
I kind of took that as him.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I took that with Hayward as him just kind of being, I don't want to say disingenuous, but like
it just happened too quickly. That like it was just like
there
overnight.
Was no in between. Like there was no like there's some like they're great. There's like a little bit of tension. There's a lot of bit of tension. Get off of my base. It was we're great. Get off of my base.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you on that. Yeah. I'm interested. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
It sounds like they kind of skim over it in the episode that he wants Vision back because they were trying to flip Vision back on to be just like a weapon. Just like, you know, it's Vision. He is like still, if he could be turned back on, probably the most powerful Avenger.
Yeah. I mean, now that
he's their Martian Manhunter, and like,
yeah, exactly. He's the only one.
He's kind of strong.
Do you think that this is where, at least for me, and maybe this is wishful thinking on my part, just because I've made it no secret how badly I want Ultron back. This might be a backdoor to reintroducing Ultron. That either an attempt to reproduce Vision, or or the AI that makes him up, or trying to turn him on sans a Mind Stone, or sans Wanda to like, you know, wiggly woo him into not being evil. That's where you get the return of Ultron. I mean, kind of love that.
I don't think you need to try to bring Ultron back, though. Not that like he shouldn't come back, but if they ever want him back, just do the same thing they did with Jarvis. Like, a version of him has existed somewhere in the internet, somewhere forever. It just took someone like giving it a kick again, right? Like you don't need any kind of intense explanation for it.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I again, the whole everybody's trying to make something out of everything here. Like I'm 100%. corkboard with red string with everything with WandaVision. So I can't help it. But I'm very excited as to where everything ends up. This is episode 8, so I think 9.
No, this was 7.
This
was
was
7.
Holy shit. We got 2 left. Holy hell. Okay, yeah. There's a lot left on the table then. So,
from what I've heard, the last 2 are both an hour, but every week they've been saying we're going to get 2 episodes at once because of the leaks, but now I think we're caught up with the leaks.
One of the main leaks was also fake because it was Magneto.
Yeah.
It was a very well photoshopped image of Ian McKellen Magneto with Elizabeth Olsen Wanda.
See, I didn't see that. The only actual images I saw were of this episode, which were the confessionals, and just the pictures of her looking incredibly disheveled. And that's all I had seen.
Those were the leaks.
What?
Those were the leaks?
That was from the leaks a couple weeks ago, like the big ones. Because I saw those images being used for memes in conjunction with the episode where we see Stoneless Vision. So I thought before I saw the episode, I was like, oh, they skipped ahead really hard and we're getting the Office episode or Modern Family episode this week. And then we didn't, and I was very confused.
Okay. That makes sense. I knew there was a big leak and somehow managed to avoid it like the plague. So
by the time I went looking for it, it didn't exist anymore. So
yeah, I'm very excited for these next 2 episodes. I want to see. I think if we don't get any type of indication as to what any co-conspirators are with Agnes, it's just going to be Agnes is the big bad by herself. I'm kind of 60-40 Nicholas Scratch Mephisto. Well, 60-40 Mephisto Nicholas Scratch. I'm still not letting go of the fact that this is so much like that storyline that is about Mephisto being inside of Billy and Tommy that I'm not quite ready to let that go yet. But the fact that we brought up the rabbit's name again feels like they're priming the audience to hear the name more. So that's just me. You two have any closing thoughts on this week's WandaVision before we wrap things up?
Nope.
Alrighty. In that case, Alexis, where can the lovely people find you?
Lexi Lion 98 on Twitter, Acapella 98 on Instagram. I didn't write damaged on your forehead.
You did not.
I don't know. I can't do the real fancy cursive.
That's fine.
But I'm just gonna.
I'm saying for the record, my bet with you is not
valid
anymore.
I'm not going to hold you up to that. I was.
You can barely see it.
That's perfect.
I was going to come on with Snyder written on my forehead. And I forgot.
That would have been that would have doubled your winnings if you had done that. Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
They can find me being damaged on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. Jarod.
Travis, the damaged pizza Gundam.
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Or if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Zach Canals, Delta 9. Thank you very much for your patronage. I wanted to say Zalkadine. I put them together. Be sure to check out the $5 tier where you get access to the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series. Spencer and I are recording Darth Malgus versus Kyle Katarn this week. Travis and I are going to be talking about the first volume of Sam Wilson Captain America on Heroic History 101. We got some other audio commentaries from Movie Club. Got lots of stuff for you guys to check out over on our Patreon. And if you would like to support the Nerd Academy even further, you can click on our student store link where you can get all manner of Nerd Academy merch goodies. You can get a shirt like this, or a sticker like that, or a comfy ass pillow like this. It's lots of fun stuff. Myriad merch, phone cases, pillows, hoodies, you name it. Anyway, you don't get to do that until you're in house with like a vaudeville cane. No, like because I have wheels on the chair. You can like do the hook. You like pull me off. That'd be a fun bit. All right, class dismissed. No homework.